My district, that's my baby to kiss. You me, please. Oh, you don't take a swing at my hair. You little fucker.
Gentlemen, the President of America! President Camacho! Shut up!
All right, everyone. Welcome. Thank you guys for joining us on this Sunday evening. It is great to have you all with us. For introduction's sake, I am the double whose door is always open. Gandalf without the gray or the white, because I'm all black. Jordy LaForge, captaining this enterprise. I am Left Eye E.G.O. And today I am joined by political intrigue extraordinaire, the actual White Bear #2 himself. No relation to the Cocaine Bear for that movie that's coming out this next month. I hope. Okay. How are you doing this evening, Mr. White Bear, sir?
Pretty good. I cannot follow the opening. I am the king of coke. I don't know. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna have to go with Gandalf the really white.
Gandalf the albino.
Yeah.
Oh man. Thanks for joining me this evening on a Sunday. No problem. I know everyone's got things to do on their weekend, so I just want to say again, special thanks for you to come out this evening. Today we're going to switch things up and get really political with you guys. I know that I've seen some of White Bear's postings, and I've seen him also on Mischief Movies and Mayhem with Canoli Sasquatch, Copa Catania, and Vex Electronica. So I wanted to have at least a political person of intrigue onto the show. So we're going to go over, some political things. I try to be as unbiased as popular and let everyone get out their own political leanings and, ask questions where they may. Chat, if you guys have questions you want to also throw in there, that's cool too. But again, wanted to have someone that actually, understands and kind of follows politics in that light. That's why I wanted to have on White Bear. Good sir. Before we start, we're just going to go ahead and address the chat here. I'm going to say Grumpy Old Vaping Gamer, thank you, sir. Pre-stream algorithmic comment. Mr. Douglas, I only have one political opinion. I hate the government and everyone in it. Understood and agree there. And we've got here. Seems like the Kochi sniffing bear is in hot demand. Oh, yeah. It's probably going to go up, especially next month when the movie comes out.
Oh, yeah.
We got Abomination AJ saying, what up, people? I'm sorry. Just an aside. I cannot believe they said that bear snorted 30 keys. Like, that is... Or 830 keys. That is.
You wake up from hibernation.
Ridiculous.
You got things to do, man.
You know what?
Tolerance is like, you want fish, you want water, you want some coke. What are you gonna do?
He's like, I guess my dealer died off. Let me get this stuff. All right, Copa Catania, let's go. Yes, sir. Oh man, thank you guys so much for joining us. So, you know what? Just gonna start up from scratch here. The question I always want to ask every guest that I bring on is, what even brought out the name White Bear? Because I understand that you're actually from, I guess it's technically the South. So yeah, how do we get White Bear from someone that's from the South without trying to give away where your name and location is if you're not into that?
Oh,
how
yeah,
do you
yeah.
come up with White Bear?
I'm a proud Tennessean, so
okay.
But
I got questions for you about that whole police thing. Well, I'll talk about that later.
Oh yeah. That's like very short amount of distance from me too, so that's even more hilarious. But okay. So there was a game made in 1997 called Ultima Online, and there were player servers that people started making on their own, and that way you can do your whole role play server and make up your whole entire history that you want to do. There was a bear clan and a deer clan. I went bear because I'm a total Chad, and and it just made sense. They're from the north. I was like White Bear, and if you are old enough, I'm 35, so
around the same age, man. Like a year. I think I'm a year older than you are, but yeah.
Oh, okay. So good old late 80s babies and all that. But there was a program, chat IRC or Merc and all that, and that was just the username that I went by, and I was like, that thing really stuck. So it stuck for going on 20 something years. So
man, it's been working for you, man. Okay,
yeah,
I dig it. So with all that, that you've only had the YouTube platform, from what I've seen, about like 3.5 months, right? But as far as views, at least the last time I checked, it's like at 48,810 with all the media that you put out. So for the success that you had in a short period of time, like what do you attribute that success to?
Well, I started up YouTube back in 2005, whenever it was super duper, no money in it and stuff like that. And I just I would take like screenshots from Super Nintendo games and cut out characters and throw them into like Paint and make whole comic strips out of them with background music. And you could use music back then, like from everything, because they wouldn't they like I had prog rock, Dream Theater, and Phil Collins on there and all kinds of death metal and stuff like that, and making all these lewd jokes in the comic strips that you couldn't get away with today. And I threw those up on there. Was making fun of movie Brokeback Mountain at the time, and but anyway, just stuff like that, and goofing around like everybody did on early YouTube, and then stopped for some time, and let's see, then felt like 7 years later, started up deciding that I like the whole education thing, so I would start putting videos on there for teaching people how to like gardening, simple gardening, homesteading, all that crap.
Really?
And as I really got into it and thought, that's worth teaching. People need to know these little life skills and all that. And that got some hits. And Google paid you back then. Even if you didn't have the 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers and all that. Yeah, I got like.
When was this?
Oh yeah, before the apocalypse, they would totally pay you. You got, and all you had to do is get approved by AdSense, and you'd start getting checks in the mail every year, or you might get $30. At the most, I had like a couple $100. But a couple $100 is pretty nice when you're younger. So coming in a month, but then. That changed, and the stuff that they'd allowed on there changed. So, but I had like the #1 video on niching down into subjects. So, super sweet cherry tomatoes.
Really,
a brand of cherry tomatoes that you can grow. I was beating out Bonnie, which is just the biggest company in the U.S. for selling plants. On that video. So I was like, I'm kind of figuring this out, and
okay.
Then over the years, I went to a few like little YouTube trainings, from a few people from Think Media and Daryl Eves and stuff like that. And I was like, I really like, the inner workings of all this. And if you can figure out the algorithm, you just got to make time to do it, and you got to stick with the subject. So, that channel, got lost over time. And finally I was like, okay, I think I can get back into YouTube. And I can do something that's, what I like, which I like politics, as much as anybody can like politics. Right. I'm not like, it doesn't wake me up in the morning with, morning politic would or anything, but I like comedy. Comedy is my thing. I like making fun of it all, because if you don't make fun of it, you'll probably cry, because it's so crazy. True.
Laugh to keep from crying.
So I started up a new channel. And fortunately, I ran into some great people like Cannoli, and then Copa, and then Vex and all that. And we started doing a show, which side project for me, and all that. But it's actually pretty dang fun. Like if I had more time, not working my butt off all the time, I'd be doing it every day, every single day. So.
Wow. Okay. So I honestly had no idea that you've been doing this for what, I guess, going on 18 years.
Yeah,
right? More or less. Wow. Like, okay, so then I guess since you've seen, almost what it was like, almost like the jib jab days, right? When you would do political stuff like that, since then to now, like, what have you seen change in terms of, I guess, I don't know if it's the algorithms or the way that, the reach is with the internet. Like, what have you seen change since you've been in it so long? Like, what's been the most surprising change you've seen from like the adpocalypse to to censorship to now? Like, what have you seen that's been the most intriguing or that you've seen over time?
I think the biggest part was when I guess conglomerates and politics started to to mix and start to make these hidden rules that you were not allowed to break. What's Nosferatu saying here?
I got you right there. Yeah, exact philosophy on comedy.
Do we just become best friends? Yes, we will be doing karate in our garage later. So But those lines that you weren't allowed to cross. So watching like Steven Crowder,
Yeah.
He got stopped, at one time for some comments, towards a person in the gay community, and not all of it. It's not, like I've heard much worse before on
Yeah.
smaller channels, but he was a bigger channel, so he had more eyes on him, and it became mass flagged, and he had to move into the format of not being able to get, where he not use the AdSense, to be able to get paid. He just had to rely on customers, and make people his viewers paid and all that. And then election coverage that changed, that became, where he became the highest watched election coverage,
Oh yeah.
channel beyond all the
Yeah.
news networks.
Oh yeah.
So, you saw YouTube channels, independent channels, not just political, but independent, nerd channels and all that, and they're getting more views than old era shows.
Yeah.
TV shows, stuff that you gotta pay for over Comcast, and you only have very few views that you can look at. No,
Right.
they were actually getting more views than than late night supposed to be late night comedy shows. Now the late night shows are they are turning into political wings of their own. So
Yeah.
and seeing YouTube change from being YouTube to whoever gives us the more money tube,
Yeah.
I shouldn't. When I typed in earlier, I was trying to find one channel. I couldn't even find them in my subscription list. I couldn't find it. So I was looking around, and I kept on trying to find type in the name of a video that had to do with Joe Biden, just for something I was looking at early, and I couldn't, even though I was typing in the exact thing, I couldn't find anything but CNN, MSNBC, and Fox News. And I don't want any of them. I want creators. And so that's probably the biggest thing, is that YouTube has really started stepping into that whole, all the stuff that we were not enjoying about Twitter before it had a change of hands.
Yeah. Okay.
And, so that's probably the biggest.
Okay. So I know that you mentioned, Steven Crowder, and I saw some of the other videos that you've made. So, I mean, growing up, and I guess from, youth to about the time you could vote till now, have your political leanings always been the same, or have they changed over time? And, what are your political leanings now?
Well, they've been like redefined, and I guess they've never fully changed. They've just become more, I guess, refined rather.
Okay.
More things to kind of back up my my stuff.
Right.
So when I was a kiddo, I come from a military family, and
Okay.
and then the other side of the family is just nothing but hardworking. Like, we all grew up from babies in the back of a restaurant, and
Okay.
but we when you're in a military family, you don't have the privilege, I guess, if somebody wants to call it that, of exactly being like racist and all that, because you're surrounded by so much diversity that you don't really have that in you.
Right.
So
Right.
you might experience it yourself, and you might be surrounded by it at different times, or see it from the other side, but you don't really do that. So oh wait, actually, sorry, what was the question?
No, that's fine. No, I was just saying, I know that that's the I guess the political leanings you had growing up.
Okay,
But
okay. So
anything, with your experiences, has anything changed? I know you said it got more refined, but was there anything that was like, wait,
well,
I thought it was, go ahead like that.
I'd say depending on what type of family you were, we knew that certain families, like families that belonged to like unions and such like that, they were going to automatically be Democrat, and others who believed, who were at least a little bit slightly informed, in our opinion, were more Republican or libertarian, and stuff like that. So when I was a kid, I might have at one time cheered on like George Bush, and and the House and Senate during Clinton's time, which when Clinton was in, I didn't really care too much about politics. I just I was there, but when it got to that time, when 9/11 came up and all that, we I think everybody kind of unified behind that, and whatever you think about it, we go into this um, time where we're just going to war, going to war, going to war, and then
Yeah.
you started to figure out like, oh like there's war profiteers,
Yeah. Yeah.
so then you start to find out over time that there's something called like the uniparty, which is it's and it gets people very jaded.
Yeah.
I can understand why a lot of people dislike all politicians, but people get pretty jaded by it. So as you get older, you start to see candidates, and you're like, oh really, am I going to vote for this? Is this the one that I'm going to have to choose? And so like with Romney, Palin, stuff like
Yeah.
or Cheney and Palin and all that, and Romney, just they were bad runs. They were bad runs. It's just they were as good as you can kind of get, and they failed for good reason, and they were put up almost like a joke in a way.
Yep. Yes.
Let's see, but um but then of course Trump happened, and a lot of things got shook up. A lot of people's beliefs got shook up, and I think that kind of helped to define a lot of people. Like, and I wouldn't call him like uber conservative, or anything. I doubt the dude, really has just sat and considered every facet of the Constitution at nighttime.
Yeah.
But the dude, knew how to shake up things, and he knew how to redefine an audience. And a lot of people started, really asking harder questions of themselves. I feel like, am I just in the middle somewhere, or, am I have I been watching my country get destroyed slowly over time? Where do I lean? And it's easy to become super into one type of party, I guess, and to the point where you don't see the faults in it as well. So in the end, I've been basically defined as what I guess some people might call it like a classic liberal, or like a real conservative, not like it's a word that has become so hated in a way, like, oh, they're conservatives, which automatically means, did you just say the word gay? Like, you can't be gay and be a conservative, or, like, you can't, these Christian conservatives, they'll just hit you in the face with a Bible and a gun and, this and that. And, that's how it is. And, you can't, you got to be one of those hardcore Mormon. I don't know, where, you just can't do anything that's out of the norm. It's just mainly believing like the government's, participation in your life should be more like 7% rather than, we're probably looking at like 70 to 80% of your life is all controlled, by government, and we don't want that. We want less of it. That's all it is.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of what I was going to ask, in terms of, I'm glad you said the faults on each side. What would you say are, if I could say, for me, I didn't even know what a libertarian was until 2018, and, I would probably consider myself mostly conservative, but I'm getting to the point where I might be politically homeless, if not like some form of conservative libertarian. I'm not sure, because to me, it's like, you suck, and you suck. And I can tell you why. But I mean, that's my leanings and that's my feelings. What would you say if we could say liberal, conservative, and libertarian? What would you say are more so the faults that people on their own side don't see that you see?
Let's see. I think on the conservative side, on the far right, like the far right, everything's going to be in a lot of quotations tonight. So
I don't mind. Go ahead. Do it.
So you get people who lean so far one way that it's like, if they see, like a lady sees a girl in like goth outfit and stuff like that, that they push them away because of the way that they look, they act, and they automatically treat them like a millennial or Zoomer, whatever. They really get into this judgmental mode, and that's kind of something that that we should all strive to get away from. Like I like your idea, like being politically homeless is probably for the best, because that means that you're not locking yourself in a corner. But anyway, they can get too hard to the right in that way. And let's see. I was actually talking to Copa about this earlier, and there are some that are so far in this like major Chad high testosterone zone. It's like, oh, you play video games? Ah, what a fuck, How often? You read comics? You like comics? You like little kids stuff? You like to touch little kids? It's so judgmental, dude.
Oh man, agreed.
And when you see that shit,
man,
makes people run the hell away.
Agreed.
Now, let's see. Yes, Jana, absolutely. But like, libertarian. So depending on how filtered and how real libertarian you are, most of it I've seen, was like more kind of leftist, and with libertarian leanings. Like they don't totally want the government in control. Like I've ran into like a lot of mislabeled libertarians. It's basically libertarians at one time. To me, were people who they didn't want to have that label of conservative or leftist. They were just they were in the middle and all that, but they definitely didn't want to be considered a conservative. Like it's disgusting to them, So, but real libertarianism is actually a good thing. It's just it can also go too far. A government is can be a good system, and it can be good things. You just have to filter. You have to be the coffee filter for everything, and learn how to keep people's feet to the fire. Whereas people who are I'd say left wing, or like Democrat, liberal Democrat, and then leftists. Leftists being the truly, in my opinion, just the bad side. It's the people who use race in such a horrible way, but usually are racist themselves, and they don't want to see that. They don't want to see that they've ultimately, in my opinion, destroyed the future of a lot of races in America other than white, and they're destroying their own race too, of white. But it's a lot of whites that are trying to coddle anybody else. It's politicians, white politicians who are, they know that they can get a vote, and they're going to do whatever they have to do, to get that vote. And they're going to stand on the bodies of any race that they can to do that. But then their followers, they just kind of follow that idea. Exactly. A Republican in name only. That's exactly what they are. But you have, like I said, so their followers suddenly get this, pseudo idea that that by being offensive towards everybody who disagrees with them, kind of like on the very other side of that range that we're talking about, that it will somehow make them feel more pure, a better person, and that throwing money at problems will help people, when we clearly see that doesn't, that's not a real answer. And that's been increasing in the country, really since the 50s on up and all that. And it's got to the point where, they've destroyed a lot of chances for, for blacks in America and anybody else coming in, whenever they've destroyed their real chance of having anything of their own.
Fair point.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I dig it. I think that it's looking like, I believe that, hold on, I'm gonna double check this.
Mhm.
Mrs. Cannoli says the Giants won. So, Mr. Cannoli, this is for you, good sir. Congrats on the Giants actually making it a little bit further than you thought, sir. Well done, sir. Well done. Sorry to disrupt from the show.
No. I'm happy for the cannoli.
I am too. I mean, I know that he's having a heart attack. I'm gonna probably have one tomorrow watching my Cowboys get destroyed by Tampa. But such is life when you're a Cowboys fan. We're not gonna talk about your Titans.
Don't worry. I was a Titans fan at one time.
I got you. So, now that we've talked as far as discussing, what we see the issues are with, each side not seeing their own problems with it. What do you think, in your opinion, is the biggest, problem we're facing as a nation? And, what would be your solution to actually resolving it?
Oh man, the biggest problem is I don't know, is probably that what I brought up earlier, this uniparty where uh let's say, let's just make up something like a 4,000 page document comes in front of a group of representatives, and they all say, yeah, I totally read that shit, and yeah, and let's just push that. You got people like Ron Paul, who's over here like, read the shit, like if y'all guys could just read it, and they're
he
like,
is
oh
he
no.
is so he is so petty, and I love it. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go
Yeah,
ahead. Go ahead.
yeah, exactly, and that's how you should freaking be. Like that would be like the only scary thing about term limits is getting rid of anybody like Ron Paul, and
Right.
Rand, Rand,
Yeah.
like that dude really gets it. That dude really try, but
Oh yeah.
this uniparty that you cannot tell exactly what they are. It's just a cesspool, this little cauldron mixture of you don't know what they are. You don't know what they really stand for until it's comes election time,
Right.
and then in the between time they screw you over just enough, and then they'll get out there and they'll get their little clips on sent out on the news stations and all, of like, I stand for America reason B, and like, vote for me later, guys. Or they'll try to get something going that they know won't pass, so that way they
Right.
can stand upon that. And I don't know, like I'll tell you what, one thing is I feel like if you are a member of the House or Senate, you
Okay.
you should lose or have everything put on hold of all your stock options.
Oh yeah. Definitely.
If
Yeah.
anybody related to you, like very closely related to you, starts gaining a mass amount of they're just better than Warren Buffett at the stock trade,
Right.
then you might have slipped them some information, and you should be held accountable for that. They
Right.
right now they get a $200 fine.
Oh, that's it.
Hmm.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. So,
Oh
Martha Stewart got in more trouble for insider trading than
yeah.
than all these people. It's but it's if we could get rid of a lot of the money in politics and all these incentives, yeah, exactly, 200 freaking bucks. Like, oh man, Nancy
Oh
Pelosi just
shoot.
turning in her coffin that she sleeps in every night. Um,
Keeper.
yeah, but if you can get rid of the money, somehow in politics, then yeah, you'd get rid of a whole lot of problems. I don't care if people write books about their time in office.
Right.
We've actually had some pretty some presidents who get out pretty poor in the end. Like Grant, yeah, when he got out,
Oh really?
he had a hard time making money afterwards and stuff like that. But we've had a few presidents who, they just had a little bit of money they didn't really gain. And there's a doggy.
So
Who we got there?
they know the wife is home, so they're probably not gonna go and bother her. I'm okay with it.
But yeah, I think that'd be a good way to do it. How about you? If there was anything
Uh
that you could change in the political system as far as that.
Honestly, because I'm really into it, and it was the one thing that I really followed, even though like I have a doctorate in a medical field. I mean,
Hmm.
for me, it's more like the Second Amendment. It's guns. Like I
Hmm.
saw the pistol brace rule drop on Friday, and the funny thing is, people that watch it too know that the ATF actually has a booth at Shot Show this year, and Shot Show is next week. And so Shot Show, do you know what Shot Show is?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for those that don't know, Shot Show is pretty much the Comic Con of guns. So it's pretty much every gun manufacturer. They're going to make their new releases, their limited runs. They're going to get their gun tubers and there are the gun celebrities to come there, and it's like a week in Vegas. So I think last year, the year before, they actually started having the ATFs have their own booth there. And so the thing is like a lot of gun tubers and a lot of people that are in the gun community are like, screw the AFT, because Biden called the ATF the AFT one time. So they're a bunch of AFT hats. It's hilarious. But the main thing is that for me, there are 40 million guns that have pistol braces on them, and so they've been changing a lot of the rules ever since I could actually follow it, because I
They're
didn't really
picking away at it every day. They're pick
Yeah.
and pick at
And
it.
so I'm like, everyone's saying about, we have inflation here, we have inflation there, we have inflation there, we have inflation here. It's like, well, hey, with a pistol brace rule, all it means is like the brace that you have is supposed to be wrapped around your arm so you can actually fire one-handed if you're
More
missing an
accurately.
arm. Right. So it makes it more accurate if you don't have an
Safer.
arm or you've got tremors, and it makes it safer. So for them to say, hey, you shouldering that makes it like a short barreled rifle, now that's illegal. And they're saying if you don't turn the gun over, register, or pay a $200 stamp, then it's illegal and you're going to go to jail.
Yeah.
So I told people, I was like, yo, what is $200 times 40 million? Like, there's all the
money
where's that
grab.
money supposed to, right? It's a big money grab. Where do you think that money's going to go? It's not going to go to you. And so, especially for me, once I actually started getting into guns, you start figuring out that a lot of the civil rights, movements, particularly the ones in the 60s for African Americans, it wasn't just backed up with just marching and saying we will overcome. Martin Luther King was strapped. Even though he got denied for permits, I think in Alabama, he still carried the tool with him.
Absolutely.
Malcolm X was always with the rifle. And so even I think even the Marxists said, do not let any government take away your guns, because then they can own you. If you go back to World War II, what was the one thing that the Nazis did? It was remove guns from the citizenry.
Right.
And so you look at all this and then you hear about, you can't have more than 10 rounds in your firearm, no matter if it's a pistol. Oh, well, if you live on the border of Pennsylvania and New Jersey, it's legal in Pennsylvania, but the minute you step over this imaginary line that separates Pennsylvania from New Jersey, now each round that you have that's a hollow point is going to get you 10 years. That was an actual rule in New Jersey. And so you can catch
and
a lot.
It happened to a lawyer. I think she's finally out of jail, but she got put in jail because her work, traveling across here and back over through there, had her in jail for I think 4 years before she actually got out.
Yeah, and so
Poor
for me, it's like, well, I heard that also in New Jersey there was a woman that was trying to get a firearm because she didn't believe the restraining order she put out on an ex-paramour was going to be able to prevent him from actually coming after her. And so the New Jersey state put her on some kind of list, a wait list, like, hey, until this clears, you cannot get a firearm. And then he actually wound up ending her life in between that time frame. And so you've got people that are getting afraid because the streets don't look safe. And, with all the political unrest, it doesn't matter who you do or do not like, regardless of skin color, attitude. If you feel threatened, you should be able to defend yourself. And the thing you don't want to find out is that there are limits on you defending yourself. And so for me, that would be my biggest issue. And the one thing that I would have to do to fix it, I would have like a National Reciprocity Act. Ironically, it stands for NRA, but I would want you to be able to safely go from one state to another, and the ability to defend yourself does not diminish across state lines.
Absolutely.
I keep that as simple as I can. I've got other issues with 91 Vidic. If y'all know what that is backwards, I don't know how the algorithm will treat it, but I'm going to call it 91 Vidic. If you know what that is backwards, that was also my biggest problem, but that was more of a people don't like to read issue, because it was 46 pages. If you care that much about your health, you would have read the FDA's findings when they did that 10,000 patient study, and you would have seen the holes in the logic before it was greenlit. And that that goes into the 201 event if y'all want to look that up. But it's mainly just the Second Amendment for me, because it will affect everybody at some point. There's a comedian that was saying, how do you think other nations view us? And the joke was, hey, man, I know we've been fighting in our own country, but you want to take it to the U.S. like an away game for once? And he's like, no, bro, they've got too many guns. Why? No, they shoot each other. What do you think they're going to do to us? And so you actually want to keep that. You want to keep them from want to keep them in that that feeling, knowing that if you come over here, it's over for you. Now I know
Right.
what Tennessee is kind of includes Appalachia, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
like you're the only states that would always get messed up if something were to happen as invasion wise is maybe Southern California, because Northern California I know it gets very woodsy because that's near Oregon and that's a
Right.
wrap. And maybe New York. You
Right.
know, how we do in Texas, Florida. Just Google Florida, man.
if
You know,
if the guns don't get them, the people chucking alligators will.
right? Can you
They
imagine?
got
Yeah,
more
can you
coke than
imagine?
me down there.
Right, a coked up bear and a coked up alligator.
Right.
Like, you can
You
believe
don't
that?
screw with that.
Right. China will be running back and be like, "What happened? They got cocaine, alligators, and bears, and
And I
we couldn't
forget
do it."
I forget which country had said it. I think it might have been Japan at the time, or
Mhm.
but basically they said every farm that we went to, if we tried to invade America, would be crawling with people with with guns, with rifles. They'd be coming at us because the citizenry, everybody had them. It was a way of
Exactly.
life. It's a way that were depicted in every movie from the '60s, on up and all that.
Yeah.
We are, the gun nation,
Yeah.
and you know, hey, do you ever listen to? I think his name is Coleon
Oh yeah.
Noir.
Noir, Colin
Okay,
Noir. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Oh, love that guy, dude. So, he's just he makes so many dang good points and all that. But point is that with that many guns out there, supposedly we're supposed to all be dead. I've got family members who
Right.
think that magically a gun might just jump out of the drawer and try, it's like guns just flying, going like puppet master, like one of those things just going around the house trying to kill you. But and a lot of ignorance about it nowadays, like ignorance that you didn't have at one time. At one time, everybody knew, like, daddy done hung his, guns up on the side of the wall. Or,
Yeah.
if you lived up north, before, they started getting their, gun rights stripped, like, Chicago and stuff like that. Everybody had a shotgun. Everybody had a piece, to keep with them because, it,
Well, no, I mean, well, on top of that, I don't know if maybe it was about the time where we were old enough to kind of remember, but I mean, you could have rifles in your truck in high school
yes,
back in the
yes.
day. Like they would have
Hmm.
shop and you would have junior ROTC and
Hmm.
kids would have rifles in the truck. No problems, no
Yep.
issues, no bang, bang, bang in your high school, nothing. So, you're thinking like, well, what would have changed? And, that winds up being its own discussion. But yeah, I literally love Colion Noir, especially I wanted to pay more attention when the whole Kyle Rittenhouse thing happened too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I watched the video and it's like, well, I understood the whole thing before everyone else did. And you're right, people on, the more extremely liberal side were
Hmm.
just saying words without actually watching the video. When you would show them the video, like, I don't want to watch that video. I don't want to see, I don't want to see someone's life ending. Okay, that's fine. But if you're
Hmm.
going to be that aggressive with saying that someone did something, you might as well at least see what would have led up to it, or at least get the full context before you say anything. Because I have people telling me, it's like, yo, man, he murdered black people. I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
like unless they were albino or took a vitiligo bath, they were
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah, go ahead. But yeah, so I posted Colion Noir's take on the whole thing. It was like a 20-minute video,
Hmm.
and like I had one of the guys that would take care of our dogs in Philly, very very liberal guy, but very very
Hmm.
cool and chill.
Hmm.
He told me he in the comments, he's like, you know what? I am very sorry. I had the wrong
Had
interpretation
no
of
idea.
what happened. Had no idea. And thank you for posting it.
Hmm.
So for me, I know that, and we talked about it with Shiro and Cannoli, Mrs. Cannoli Sasquatch and Meatball, that I think part of our issue is every side wants to dunk on the other one when we get the chance. And the thing is like, you may not know that what they're walking into. They just don't know. They say, well,
Right.
someone told me, someone that I trusted told me, CNN told me, MSNBC told me.
Hmm.
And I think that's true. And it's like, well, that's actually, they're clipping it. Did you really watch the whole context? And they're like, wow, not only did I figure out that what I thought was false, I'm also looking at you funny because you lied to me. You purposely clipped something out that should have been the full context. So yeah, I mean, making a very, very long, answer as short as possible and even longer.
Oh,
I think that the Second Amendment is the main thing. And Dempsey said, "I'm not a Fed." Well, I'm
yeah,
convinced.
for sure. He's probably wearing a better polo than me, and it's tucked in like some khaki shorts and sunglasses. Okay.
Oh my god, bro. So the thing
Yeah.
is,
Right.
because of where I live, that is not a joke. When people were like, when they showed that one picture of those four dudes that were obvious feds in
Hmm.
like the khaki shorts with the cargo in it,
Yeah.
with the buzz cut hair and the sunglasses, I was like, no, dudes out here really do look like that. You
Hmm.
just look at them and be like, oh yeah, Air Force. I don't know, Army. Marines, I can tell. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they really
Yeah.
do dress like that, y'all. It's not a joke. If you ever have military family members or live in a military town, it is spot on. But yeah, so I mean, go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess now that we've trying to figure out, what our leanings are, what our
Hmm.
problems are, and how we'd solve them, in your mind, what would be the ultimate form of government? Like like 90% control, 30% control, no control. And have you ever heard or seen about that in our history?
Um, you know, the biggest problem during the first like 40 years of our nation, I guess, other than not totally having our shit together and all the rules fully laid out, because the Constitution was made, eventually, and
Yeah.
they had to kind of work on it and stuff like that. But there was when the government said no, we are going to get our tax money for alcohol, for whiskey, and
Oh
they
yeah.
formed a little group. They took the standing army, and it's like we're going to go down there and get our money, get our money. But I'd say like 10%, 10%, maybe 7. Is how much control the government should really have on our lives, because there are some things that are just super duper bad for you. Making toxic waste in your backyard, probably not a good idea. And can massively go beyond your reach.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, they polluted the groundwater, or they're taking away from the groundwater because they collect water from their gutters for their garden. That's becoming laws in different places.
Yeah, I heard about that.
Which if you do any gardening, this is how people collect water. Depending
Yeah.
on depending on how you grew up and stuff like that. There's a
Mhm.
reason you collect groundwater. Anyway, going into the Second Amendment and stuff like that.
I mean, had there ever been a point in time that you think was the best time for the amount of government that you're talking about?
It'd have to be, just like I said, within the first 50 years or so, and all that.
Of the
That probably
Constitution, or like of the American Revolution?
of the American Revolution,
Okay.
because that was probably peak time, and then it just slowly went downhill from there.
Okay.
And more in their favor. When they make laws like what you're talking about, with the brace and all that, it's not only that, it's even if you do have that stamp, it makes it sound so much more friendly, like we're going to tax your ass.
Good day.
Even when you make that, and even if they do have that tax stamp, if you get pulled over, or if your house gets like, say you got swatted right now or something like that,
Yeah.
and they find that in your house, and they're like, but why do they're still going to question you. They're going to be
Yeah.
like, why do you have this? Like in Tennessee, we can carry open carry
Yeah.
legally, and that just finally happened like a couple years ago. Before then, everybody had a concealed carry, and that's it. And that is such an overstep, especially in this kind of state. But the state for a long while had a lot of was ran by a lot of Democrats for a while, and it's it's one of the states that kind of slowly over time has turned more red over time. But even if you get pulled over, even if you are legally allowed to carry and stuff like that, if the first thing that they're going to be checking, as I found out earlier last year, was they're instantly going to go for your firearm, and they're going to look it over, and they're going to be like, okay, we're going to run this, and like, what the fuck, like I haven't, and And while they were waiting, it's like they started, just taking out, checking in on every single bullet and just putting it out in front of my car and just check, like, what the hell are you doing? And shit, it's just that much overreach to where suddenly whatever has happened in an amount of time that makes anybody think that they should have police force, and which I do like a lot of policemen. I serve them every day at
Yeah.
because I help I'm a chef and manager of a restaurant, and
Okay.
so we've had police around us at that family restaurant for years and all that, but
Okay.
after things happen, we take away that discount. Because you keep on getting
Yeah.
family members and your employees harassed by police and all that. You're gonna lose that, because you should never be to that point to where it's where you're starting to become the meme of like you're just a tax collection agency,
Yeah.
for the city and all that, and like emissions, for like vehicles and stuff like that. Is that a thing in Texas? I don't know. Where you have to
Yeah.
have a tag from getting approved from emissions for
No,
your vehicle.
no. I think it was like that in Pennsylvania and I think Colorado. I think those are
Mhm.
only two states that I really recognize. I don't think they do it in Texas, or if they did, they don't do it anymore.
Okay, well,
But good.
they finally started ending that in a lot of all of our counties here in Tennessee, and the county that I lived in didn't have it, but the county that I worked in did have it.
Oh
So I
wow.
felt bad for all the employees and all the people who lived in the county that I worked in. Uh, who to be able to drive, you had to have somebody Billy Joe Bob stick this little reader in the back of your car and all that, and hope that it comes out right.
Yeah.
And okay, that it's creating a system to where, and trust me, a lot of us are one car breakdown away from losing our shit. you know
Everything. Yeah, I know. I know.
and the last thing one of my waitresses needs, usually half the time, most of my crew have been like single moms at times, or
Oh yeah.
just or newlyweds, and they're trying to do a family, and then suddenly their 20-year-old vehicle that they're driving has an O2 sensor problem. And next
Hmm.
thing you know, they're being told like you're going to get pulled over, and then you're going to get your car taken away from you until you get this fixed. And going to a mechanic, you're gonna get screwed over. And when the government
Yeah.
is to that point, you know, um, you really have to you really have to understand and try and take control. Like, so we,
Hmm.
as the family business, we contributed so much money to people who were actually trying to push against that, because it was so wrong in that county. And I don't even live in that
Okay.
county, but starting local and trying to work, and trying to push your politicians into making better choices, like getting rid of that, that destroys people's lives. And
It does.
the, you know, so
Well,
anyway.
I mean, I guess that kind of goes into something. I mean, I guess so technically it was a restaurant, correct? If
Hmm.
not assuming wrong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So during 91 Vidic, like, were you guys open? Were you guys shut down? What happened? Were you open then closed? What happened there?
So our health inspector gave us a call and like was just letting us know some of the rules and such stuff was going on, but we were gonna have to have all the booths 6 feet apart and stuff like that. Make sure that people were able to do that. They weren't going to do an inspection. They didn't even send us a letter
Oh.
for the longest time. Basically, I had more information from freaking Instagram and Twitter than I did from my local officials about it. And it's Tennessee. They didn't take it like they weren't the worst that that was out there for states
Yeah.
on issues. But we just decided, hey, so that way we don't have our biggest worry was more like, we know that there are people who are going to probably not, keep their distance. So we just closed
Hmm.
down our dining room
Oh wow. Okay.
and made everything to go. And we put
Okay.
out some sanitizer stations. That's it.
Okay. All right.
We knew enough, no matter how you felt about it, if you just kept a level head, these plastic shields
I
we're
know.
not going to be, we're not going to really help.
Yeah.
people are, vicious about food. You've seen in
Yes.
your life,
Yes.
people, cuss out employees, just for doing their job,
Yeah.
so they're probably not going to give a damn about your 6 foot,
No.
so yeah, it's just a choice, make it or not. You can go in there with your Tyvek suit and shit like that. Uh, and go in there. I'm gonna hold my breath. I'm gonna have. What was that, Gavin Newsom? He's like, well, but I held my breath in between. But anyway, it and you know what? It really didn't affect us too much because we just kept on rolling because um we knew that if we got it, we got it, and like the owner, my brother, I'd sold the business, to him 10 years
Oh,
ago.
okay. Okay.
Um, so or 11 years ago now. Anyway, but he got it, and he was super overweight,
Okay.
and that caused a lot of issues. And one of the medicines that we won't say on here that they gave him basically turned his urine brown and was shutting down his kidneys. And he
Oh
was in the
boy.
hospital. He was in the hospital at the time, and they came to him and they gave him a choice, like, "Hey, you're having problems, and we can give you this experimental medicine. You can take this choice." And he's like, "Oh,
Yeah.
sure." And then as soon as he saw that, he's like, "I'm dying. I'm gonna die
Whoa.
here." And so he just opted for another type of medicine,
Okay.
and eventually got out, got better, and decided to drop. Dude's dropped 250 pounds. He's
Wow.
like one and a half of me. So go him.
Okay.
Carnivore diet, yeah.
That,
But
oh yeah. I mean, I've been doing the carnivore diet now,
mhm,
so
mhm.
really it has helped
Yeah,
that much.
Cannoli, and his wife, well, they do keto.
Keto. Yeah.
They do keto,
So
but
you're
but
so the so your younger brother, Little Bear, dropped 250 on carnivore diet.
oh no, no, older brother, but yeah, he dropped. Yeah,
Whoa.
he dropped that way, and he'd been carrying that shit, for a long time, So it's been with him since he was, in his early 20s, and he's older than me,
Really?
so he was able to drop all that just from changing up his diet and maybe walking a little bit more, and that was it.
Okay.
That's how much your diet can affect you with all
Yeah.
the but you know
Shiro's gonna love hearing that. But no, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, that's but anyway, so that was probably like the worst part was the realities, the people
Yeah.
who actually got, sicker when they went to the hospital at times. I'm not going conspiracy theory here, tenfold and all that, but
Yeah.
there was a lot of issues and there was a lot of money made
Oh
during
yeah.
all, and
Yeah.
not by business owners. And
No.
every bit of our product since then and since the new administration has went up and up and up. Like the price of a box of like blocks of cheese and mozzarella.
So
Um,
even the eggs and things have hit you guys really hard with the supply. Oh wow.
oh, dude, it's been it's like I said, say a box of just these giant blocks of cheese that we get in,
Yeah.
used to cost like $42,
Okay.
and it's now going on 114.
Oh my god.
And then people were like, why are you
No.
raising your prices after 5 years? Like, I can't believe you're doing like this is just getting too expensive. Like, well, no shit, Karen. It's getting really expensive. And then, my employees, they all need raises because the cost of living has went so
Right.
much up.
Right.
It's it was a real thing, and it keeps on getting worse the more and more, pressure that they put on you over all these new taxes that they make up and all these
Oh
new
yeah.
issues that suddenly become a problem. And now they're trying to tell you that gas stoves are a problem. Like, how
Ain't
many
no way.
restaurants run off of
Run up
gas?
gas over. There's no damn way. Ain't no way. No. No. You might as well just shut the whole state of California down if you want with electric
Right.
everything. Between the heats, the
They
rolling
can't
brownouts, the
handle it.
electric cars.
They can't charge their
Yeah.
Tesla.
There is no damn way. Yeah. Like, I think for me it's like it sounds like there's more character in the food when you go with a gas stove.
Right.
It's
Right.
got more character in it. I know that electric sounds like the cool thing to do, but if it were up to me, I would like to
Yeah.
have a gas stove. So I don't understand
Yeah.
that either. You definitely put stresses
I
on.
like options, and that's what America should be.
Right.
That's what America is. Is to break down America is the option. Like ego should not have to choose between an electric or a gas or a wood burning
I was like,
stove, and
I
it
have a
shouldn't be.
dream.
I have a damn
That's the real dream, guys. Not that damn
yeah.
embrace that either looks like someone holding a Johnson or
What
someone
the fuck
going.
is
It
that?
either looks like that. I've heard all sorts of things.
It's
It's like,
arms that are supposed to be crossing over and like embracing or
but there's
something,
no
or
body to go. There's no shoulder and head, so you can see someone embracing someone. So all like my Shira
I
was like, is someone performing the Michael Douglas right now? Like I either heard it was like someone doing the Michael Douglas performing the act of cunnilingus on there. I've heard it looks like someone holding a poop, someone holding a what's the word I can use for it on here? Oh God, what is that thing? An eggplant. There we go. I've heard
okay,
so many
okay.
things outside of it looking like an actual embrace.
I mean, I
So
didn't know what it was. At first, from distance, I thought, okay, is that it's supposed to be a person holding like a swaddled up baby. Okay, that kind of looks like okay, that
right.
kind of looks like a turd. Okay, oh no, that might
Mm,
be a Johnson, Johnson.
right.
You know, um,
Yeah.
it just is terrible, and all we need now is Lizzo twerking upside down in front of it.
I have my own theories on Lizzo. It's like Lizzo would be more attractive if she actually had a butt and a chest. And I was like, you can't be overweight, no chest, no butt, and play the flute. It's like it's a bunch of things that conflict with each other. And so you're like, well, if you do the Adele and you lose the weight, and then you
Yeah.
get implants
Hmm.
up top. I don't do bottom implants because I'm just like, ayo, squats.
Yeah. Yeah.
Chest, if you want to take care of that, surgically get a tuck and a lift for that, that's fine. It just
If I
I
could
think
just
that
press a button and my ass just goes like that,
right,
that could be an investment, and I'm all for
right.
people and that kind of medical freedom right there. If you got the extra money,
Exactly. That's true medical freedom. Right.
inflatables, do whatever you
Right.
want.
If I were a plastic surgeon, I'd be like, I'll make you a deal. You can do squats and get a natural butt. I will perform your breast augmentation and lift if you just
Right.
stop doing that twerking shit, please.
Yes.
You can be in a band outfit and play the flute like you did in high school because we know you're a band nerd. Okay, my brother played the saxophone in band. You guys are all pretty much have the same marker. So just
Yeah,
I
you
will do
don't
this
see
for
him whip out
free.
his saxophone at the store and be like, "Hey guys, look at me! This is
I wish he would. We could get
Yeah.
more free groceries that way. Shit for
Yeah,
eggs is expensive. Okay.
that's why
Um.
I have chickens,
So
dude.
I
I
mean,
am making
go
so
ahead.
much money off of that crap.
Really?
Yeah, dude. People buy my freaking eggs, and those girls are putting them out even during the winter time. I keep them, fed with everything that I can keep them fed with, as
Have you had to
natural as
change?
I can.
Have you had to change anything, or you just like upping what you're feeding them, or the feeding times?
Oh, I just always keep them available, good fresh water and stuff like that. And there's this like little powder they can add into their water to make sure they stay hydrated because low hydration is actually the biggest killer. Not
Really?
more than the cold during the winter is. The cold is going to lead to your death and all that. But like
Okay.
if you're not hydrated, which goes to say much about our own nutrition, and all that, if you're not hydrated, you actually will go into hypothermia and stuff like that faster. So you will, those chickens will die. But
Okay.
clover and clove, what grows, clover grows, all over the yard and all that. So
Yeah.
all year you can pick that, and like in this area with coyotes and only so much time of the year to shoot them, because I'm at work all the time.
Okay.
I have to keep mine in like a 12 by 12 pen, and
Okay.
um,
I don't mean to be an aside, but I watch a lot of Yellowstone. Me and Cheryl, it's one of our
mhm,
favorite shows.
mhm.
So it really is partly like that with the land that you have. You'll put certain animals on it so you can at least use it to its advantage for the acres that you
Right.
do have. Okay.
Mhm.
And so shooting the coyotes thing, that really is really, you really have to go out there and
You
spot them,
have
or do
to.
you really?
Yeah, like
Okay.
and you'll hear it usually whenever they find something out in the woods, they all start just all group howling at once, and It's only happened like 3 times where I've had to, just like stop, turn off whatever I'm doing online and be like, all right, I'll be right back. And they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm about to go kill something, and,
Yeah.
that's kind of the little, even small farm life and all that is, like I got like 5 acres to take care of. It's not,
Oh, wow.
it's
Not
not a
bad.
crap ton, but, I got my own set of woods,
That's
got a
nice.
source of water, we're all good on that part. And we want to expand that, but you also need more time to actually take care of those animals, uh, and
Wow.
having the right kind of dog for it, stuff like that. But, either way, but man, keeping them with greens and, like you buy cheapo bags of lentils and you can sprout them
Mhm.
super easy. Just, put them in a container with holes in it and water it every other day and keep it, where it has good drainage. And those lentils go from like this tiny little lentil to a sprout like that big.
Really?
And that makes the protein in the lentil more accessible for for the chicken.
Wow. Okay.
And lastly is, you get 2 totes, put dirt and newspapers in a tote, and put worms in there, and throw scrap junk, like leftover natural foods in one side of it, like banana peels and crap like that.
Yeah.
And you keep those things in the dark. Those worms will eat it, and then they reproduce like massively. And you just change that out and put them in a different container. And next thing you know, you got like 10 pounds of extra worms to feed your chickens.
Whoa,
So
dude, that's awesome. Uh, if you get a chance, more homesteading advice, please. That would be
mhm.
awesome. Like
Oh
that's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool. I didn't know you were in it
Oh,
like
and
that. I know that.
hey,
But
actually, to answer Jana there, um, if you have any older eggs and stuff like that, or just you go through, using a bunch of eggs, all the
yeah,
leftover eggshells that you got, after you
okay.
make yourself a ton of eggs and all that, and if you can't eat all the eggs because you got too many eggs, feed the eggs, to your dogs. It's like the most natural dog food ever. It's high protein. It's
Eggshell,
everything the
like
body needs.
unused eggs or
But take
eggshells.
Oh, well, feed them the eggs and all that, but
Okay.
take all those eggshells and feed them to your chickens. Because
Huh.
until if the chicken's malnourished, they'll actually start eating their own eggs, and they'll let you know that they don't have enough calcium.
Oh, okay.
But a chicken won't touch an egg at all. They won't hurt the egg at all until it cracks. If you crack an egg in front of a chicken, they will all come in and fight over who gets to eat the eggshell.
Really?
Really. So all my
Wow.
leftover eggshells and stuff like that, I take them up to the chickens and they go wild over it. Like, because when you go up to like a chicken pen, they're all standing at the corner, like looking at you like, what are you going to give me? What are you going to give me? So you have to distract them with something, like, here's an eggshell. Like, leave me alone, bastards. But
Wow.
yeah, and they're super useful animals,
Yeah,
excuse me, like Nosferatu was saying there, they take care of mice, they take care of bugs, they take care of spiders. I hate spiders,
I do too. I do
I
too.
freaking hate them. Like, that's, when the clown turned into, when Pennywise turned into that giant spider, I was like,
Ugh.
oh, this is full creep on mode, like this is my nightmare,
Nightmare fuel right there. Okay.
right.
Wow, that's actually pretty. I am learning some stuff. Yeah, man. If you get a chance to just, even if it's a short about just homesteading, that would be awesome. I know that,
Oh yeah,
you
yeah, I
know,
got plenty of videos on it. I still,
okay.
I kept all the videos from the old channel, so.
Really?
Hmm.
Dude, that'd be awesome to see more homesteading. I know that my Shiro's folks live on 32 acres. And
Oh
so,
wow.
yeah, so I'd never been out anywhere like that. And so we
Hmm.
go out there. First of all, I've never seen it be blue black at night. That is a new hue of darkness that I had never seen before.
Hmm.
But when those
Makes you
lights go out,
appreciate.
you do, but you can see all the stars. It's beautiful, but
Hmm.
it still winds up being work because I know that a lot of it's brush, and you
Yeah.
know that you guys like, well, hey, I need to know that my property line ends here, and if I step over that, my because my neighbor might have live on so many other acres, I can be deemed a threat by stepping a foot over there, and that's why you get like, hey, if you step on my property, it's gonna be go time for you because yeah, because I don't know if you're a friend or foe from that distance. All I know is you're on my property and I don't know who you are. So,
Right.
between that, they've got chickens as well. They've got a
Hmm.
pet cow that they didn't want to take to the slaughterhouse, so it's now the pet cow. But, just learning on actually taking care of what you've been given for the land that you have
Yeah.
too. You don't you hate to have to say that I have to get these animals for tax purposes too,
Hmm.
but it's like, well, honestly, you should be a tax incentive to have them. So
Absolutely.
I can actually give you the produce that's going to wind up in your grocery stores. I think it would go for more goodwill from farmers to actual like merchants and with the government, the state government as well. Like, hey, look, here's a subsidy. Like, I will give you this money, get more chickens. I will, for the land that you have, I'll give you this subsidy. And, we're going to hook you up with a contract with, with a major grocery chain that's in your
Mhm.
area so that everything stays local. That would, if it were for me, that I think that would be another thing to actually kind of fix,
Well, yeah,
because
if
go ahead, I'm
if they
sorry.
would start up a program where you had, inspectors that would go around, like they started there's more tax incentives for actually for African American farmers
Yeah,
in different places across the country, and really that incentive should be for really for everyone, not really race dependent. It should be for everyone because you should
right,
want people to grow their own shit now, and if you want to be able to sell it, you should have to maybe agree to follow some guidelines on a program and all that.
right.
Other than that, then you better just do it neighbor to neighbor kind of thing, and
Yeah,
maybe not have to worry so much about the IRS. But
yeah,
you that should be an incentive. Everybody should, know how to grow a little bit of food, or at least one
yes,
plant. Even if you live in the
right,
city, you can grow. If you have a window and the ability to put it near something and all that,
right.
growing your own plant at first is like a super big thing. Like we
Yeah.
start growing chili plants.
Ooh,
And we have one that is now actually we could legally get the name changed because it's a seventh generation, meaning
really?
so it's
Wait, so what does that mean when you're seventh generation? Like, what can
meaning like
change?
you replanted the seed from the first plant, and then you
Oh, wow.
replanted that seed and replanted that seed. It actually loses its traits that whatever they might have put in it through whatever chemical design, because they had to design some seeds and all that to help them last better and stuff like that. Really, it can create suicide seeds. But anyway, point being is,
Wow.
yeah, that's why it's kind of shitty that they sell seeds like that, But um, anyway, learning how to do your own plant like that and actually keeping it alive, it teaches responsibility.
Yes,
Uh,
yes,
and it teaches you, like sometimes it's a loss. Sometimes you're like, shit, that plant's
yeah,
dead as shit, but yeah, if everybody had the ability to, try and sell their, their plants or, their foods
right.
to a market, we wouldn't be stuck in a situation where you got people who, if it doesn't come in a package, in a cardboard box, if it can't last 7 years on the shelf, you know, then they're like, "What's that?" You got the macaroni. What is it? Macaroni and chicken nuggets kids. Who are like,
Oh,
if it ain't
yes.
macaroni or chicken nuggets, I ain't
Not
eating it.
eating.
Like, cats can be picky too, but you leave them in the back of a trunk of a car with a peanut butter sandwich, for a week, and
Nope.
that sandwich will be gone. That's how we teach
Okay.
people in Tennessee. It's not
No, that's
abusive at
fine.
all.
But I think you're right. I mean, if you incentivize people at a younger age to actually at least understand the aspect of farming, or at least the concept of it, even if it's urban farming, because one of my buddies does that in parts of Louisiana and Puerto
Mhm.
Rico. You actually have more respect from the farmers that you do meet.
Yeah.
I was talking to one of my patients one day, and he was like, "Yo, are you in the Farmers Bureau?" And I was like, no, why would I be in the Farmers Bureau? He's like, yo, everything that you have on that you're wearing, the food you get comes from somebody's farm. You
Right.
should know at least what's going into the products, what regulations are being sought out and how it's going to affect you. So at least, even if you don't know these things, you should at least be on some kind of bureau within your county or your city so you are not surprised by regulations and changes.
Right.
So, now that we've talked about, our pretty much our dreams for farming, if we could switch that to politics and you've got
Okay.
a
Okay. Yeah.
magic wand, right? You can do
Mhm.
anything you want with this wand, and you get to choose your president, your vice president, and your speaker of the house, because I think those are the top three
Yeah.
positions in terms of our politics. And everyone doesn't really care about local politics; they want to hear the national one, right? If
Right.
you get this magic wand, they say, "Hey, WhiteBear, I want you to wave this wand and automatically summon, living or dead, or someone that's not even in politics. You get to choose the president, vice president, and speaker of the house. Who you got?"
Okay, so do you know who John Kennedy is? Not John F, but current John Kennedy.
I'm
He
trying
is
to
this
remember. I think
representative from Louisiana, and he
okay.
sounds like he is hilarious.
Is the
He
sheriff?
is,
Not the
huh?
sheriff. Not a sheriff. He's not the sheriff,
No,
right?
no, 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 no,
Okay.
no. But he is just freaking hilarious, man. I mean, he comes on there and he's basically like, if a Democrat ain't a horse's ass, then I ain't a blah blah blah. And he's saying this right in front of, like, I mean, he has so many cool little like, your redneck uncle jokes and all that. Like the dude is a hometown guy. He would be such a funny speaker if I didn't have Trump for it, because he would just be getting on people's nerves. He'd just be like, "You're an idiot. Shut it. That's all." They say I'm the best speaker. I don't know. I hear things. Like uh, we're gonna have to build a wall right between you guys and things. But let's see. And maybe I don't know if we could resurrect John Kennedy and put all that back together again. John F. Kennedy. He was actually a pretty good president. He had his issues going on, and
Yeah.
but when he became back faithful to his wife and stuff like that, and getting his life together, he was getting some real shit done. And um, you know, if you could get that, and like Ron DeSantis is like vice president or president, either one, that would be great with me. But like John F. Kennedy would be considered, sadly, like a conservative today with a lot of the things that he did, and
Okay.
I don't know. Yeah, that'd probably have to be it.
So yeah, John F. Kennedy, DeSantis, and you said Trump.
Let's go John Kennedy.
Okay.
At the other John Kennedy.
Okay, the other John Kennedy. Okay, all right, I dig it. I'm trying to figure out. I want to be serious, but it's like, well, how serious can you be about politics when they're not really serious about my well-being?
Right.
If we're gonna go super serious and I have to have a president, I'm gonna go Abe Lincoln.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, like, I've never seen. Everyone says that every president that follows the last one is going to be in a more divisive time, and it's more of a splintering
Right.
social climate. But it's like, well, none of you guys were ever president when the nation said, I don't like you, I'm going to go fight you, and you're
Right.
actually going to have to be waging a war against your own citizens to an extent, especially him getting rid of habeas corpus during Civil War. Like, you had to make some really, really big decisions, including, saying, what, we're losing this fight. Damn, we got to let the black people in. We can't win without them. Release the Blackens.
Release the Blackens.
So, if we're going to go serious, I have to have Abraham Lincoln.
He's a good vampire hunter.
Yeah, I gotta see that movie, man. I hear it's good. I can't see it now, but I'm like, now that I'll do a parody. I'll watch Abraham Lincoln, Vampire Hunter. As far as vice presidents, I don't know. I mean, maybe John Kennedy, perhaps, like the one that actually got assassinated, because I know that he went against the World Bank, and and we're finding out that the CIA did actually have their hands in that. So anyone that's willing to stand up to your own government,
if your government comes after you, you're probably
right. You gotta be a badass.
I mean, dude, I'm totally with you on that.
Yeah,
I believe I really had some good, strong opinions about him, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I'll have to see. Okay, I might change my Lincoln after watching Razor Fist latest video. If you can link that in there or just send me into a DM, I'll check it out. I know people are saying he had these thoughts on black people behind the scenes. For me, it's like, I don't really care, because the results are the results. Even if you don't like someone, the fact that you're like, hey, you know what? I'll have to say, let's just let him free. We won the war. We had an honor agreement. But I don't know.
It's like
Maybe
Thomas Jefferson really didn't. Yeah, he did not feel comfortable about keeping slavery in, but they had to get the shit wrote down really quick, and and get that passed. And they knew that people were still buying buying black people from black people to use in the fields and all that. So but he did something about it. Lincoln
Right.
actually, he finally he took the plunge. I get it that he did, bypass some pretty important parts of the Constitution there, but
Yeah. Okay.
actions speak louder than
Then what?
than his
Exactly. What
crazy
you're
ass
gonna say.
wife. His wife was freaking crazy, dude.
Jesus.
She was nutty. Okay. Anyway.
No, that's fine. I mean, I was looking for what Dempsey said about George Washington had the right idea, and it was a quote about political parties. I was also listening to a short history of the United States, not a people's history of the United States, that with Howard Zinn, a short history of the United States, and you find out George Washington quit. Like
he
after the
didn't want to
second
do this.
term, he was like, "I can't stand you guys. You, you literally wanted to call me his emperor or the king of the United States," and I
Your
said, "No,
excellence,
your excellency. I just wanted to be president, and you wanted
Right.
me to go a third time, but you're already complaining about things that I did. Like, bro, I was the general when we got freedom, and now you motherfucking ingrates want more from me. You know what? I'm out of 2 terms. So,
That's enough.
George Washington's an honorable mention.
If they could have stuffed him and brought him before Congress, be like, George wants this, people would have agreed,
Right. So, and to change things up, if I had Speaker of the House, I'm not gonna lie, I'm digging up Michael Jackson. I swear to God, yes, that it
Really?
would be yes. Just,
wow.
I know, but what are you talking about?
That's soft spoken.
That's not what we agreed upon.
You guys are
Did you read
ignorant.
this?
You guys are ignorant.
Right. You see that? Why are you so close to me right now? Back up. You see that one where the guy with the cameraman's in his face is like, back up, you're too close right now. What a schmuck. And he's from Gary, Indiana. So people that knew him were like, yo, Michael Jackson's actually pretty hood. It's just that you don't see it when he's on camera. And so, when you get victory, him just moonwalking across the stage.
He'd be moonwalking right across the piers, all the aisles and all, and be like,
right.
He'd be just like, vote, come on, vote,
Right. We're about to, like, the minute we hear about a culture war, here comes Michael Jackson. I took my baby for a Saturday night. You're like, you know what? He did take his baby on a Saturday night. It really doesn't matter.
He was a smooth criminal.
Yo, someone please clip
Nancy, are you okay?
Exactly. So yeah, I would definitely want Michael Jackson to be Speaker of the House because it'd be entertaining. I think on his own he could prevent a world war himself. But if things got really ridiculous, he would call up Janet. They would form Rhythm Nation and say they don't really care about us. And I'm going to war with that song. It's like they don't care about us. Like, it's like, oh my God, we're gonna get all those assault weapons. We need them. Because we have the world, we got to protect it. So I need you to have your AK-47 and your 9mm. Where's your 5.56? Is it suppressed? Okay, let's go. I'm just like, I'm rolling with him. Yeah,
I do.
Senator of the state.
I have to change my choice now.
I am digging up Michael. I'm digging up Michael for that. But anyway, thank you for joining me on this political ride. Where can everyone actually find you? On all the socials right now?
All right. Well, I'm WhiteBear 2. I don't think there's actually a space in the name, so it's just WhiteBear with the number 2 on YouTube. Putting out some new videos this week, and let's see, WhiteBear YT over at the Twitters, and let's see, WhiteBear 2 on Rumble. Got to support my new tech and all that, but that's about it. Just give it a look, see, and I'm wanting to definitely expand on more things that I do on the channel, and have more, just straight up commentary now that I'm getting more used to being back on camera and stuff like that. So I think that'd be great, and try to get people on over there. So but it's really fun. I've met some really cool people from it, and some other creators that I kind of followed and all that. Actually reached out to me and gave me a little bit of just kind of reassured me on what I was doing, all that. So that was nice, and so thank you, Nosferatu, there. And
okay, all right. So actually, Jana's saying, hey, is you the next Crowder? I hope we'll see. What plans or goals do you have for 2023?
Okay, YouTube wise,
YouTube and personal, if you want to shout that out. Yeah.
Well, maybe you drop the cocaine just a little bit. Habits get harder and more expensive. Inflation.
It's a little bump.
Yeah, a little bump, a little toot. So But really just eventually the place, where I work will finally be done. Family's tired. Family's tired. We're done with, it's been in the family since, the early 70s on. So we're tired.
Wow.
We'll be wanting to get away from that. And remember to check out Abomination AJ because he is going to be streaming Red Dead.
We're not
But
going to keep you guys too much longer now.
yeah. So but I definitely want to expand more into like what I was saying, is just getting to more commentary, having like more real discussions like this, which I feel is way more important than just I love making fun of stuff and all that, but having real discussions with with fun is always great because comedy is I want to just keep on expanding on that and get the channel rolling, and because one day I want to do just this is the funnest thing in my life. So but that's really about it. Just stream more, have more videos out, and just keep on. Hopefully YouTube will still allow people like us on there, but we'll see. There's always other avenues and all that, and just basically expand the brand, baby.
Okay, all right. You guys hear it first. He's trying to expand the brand. Sub to him on all the forms of technology where you can. But for now, this is what's WhiteBear 2. I'm E.G.O, and for now, guys, E.G.O out.